welcome to 28 before 28, where I make 28 brews before my 28th birthday. And this is brew number 17. And believe it or not, we actually have a repetition of not just the herb, but the card too. So they are not the same as before, but we are back to the love brew. I hear you, universe. You know what I mean? It's like, girl, pour that love in. And the herb that I got is actually raspberry leaf, but I put it back, and then I was like, why did I put it back in the thing? And then I try to go over it, and then you just have to trust me, bro, on this one. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. But I decided that I'm gonna actually make a mix, like a full brew with more than just the herb, because the herb that I got was the raspberry leaf, which I do got here. And look what's on there. The first word, love, baby, and healing with protection. So I thought that I would do raspberry leaf, peppermint, because peppermint is also starts with love and healing. So we have like same, and then some rose petals, that I got, and then I'll be using some honey. This is just diluted with water because I'm at the end of my bottle, my glass, in my jar. And I might use the last drop of it. Anyways, so that's where I'm at. Today, this is the first time I put on lipstick in like a really long time, and this used to be my signature color, like all the time. Like I had this, I'm pretty sure, for 5 years, maybe 8 at this point. Wait, since I came to the US, oh my god, 9 years. That's insane. Okay, so I've also like noticed things about myself which I'm really glad about, things that I love. But I'm like, when I find something that I'm like, that fits me or works with me, I just stick to it. I'm just like, okay, this is it. Why change? Why try things and stuff like that? And I was thinking about it because I was thinking about love, because this card, right? It's the lovers, and it was talking about the flow of love, but also kind of like this is a very partner like, or receiving the other love, right? The other worldly love and whatnot. So I think of myself, I talked about the last video where I had this card, the love brew. I was talking about how to give that love to yourself. And for me, like recently, I've been like, I allow myself to chill around. I like work out because I know my body needs it. I try my best to eat the best, but I also haven't, because I've been snacking a lot, which isn't good because I have a lot of like food, dietary issues and whatnot, or restrictions, I guess. And at the same time, I was thinking about, okay, but if I want to think about how do I love myself in other ways, right? Other than that, I was thinking about it in terms of like the 5 senses, which are very like earthy bound, very Capricorn, very Taurus vibes, right? But I was thinking about it in terms of pleasure. I was like, okay, like there's the love of like the basic love of nourishment, right? Which is the Venus in Cancer kind of love of like emotional nourishment, like providing safety. But also I think about it really as like the like goddess energy, very mother like energy. And it's like, I am here for you, I protect you, I will guide you, and I also will hug you when you fall apart. I will also be there to celebrate your joys. I will make sure that challenges are out of your way to the best of my abilities. But also when you are faced with challenges, I'll be right there next to you. That's kind of like the energy. And also like protection, like very mother, like very just kind of like, okay, I need to take care of this. So that's kind of how I've been like looking at myself. But yesterday I was thinking about it in terms of pleasure, and this is something that I was talking about last year, and like my old videos about like pleasure and grounding pleasure and all of that. And truly, one of the things that I love is being able to experience life, like just new experiences and whatnot. And those experiences really do expand me quite a bit, right? Like it just changes my, like expands everything. And it's like, oh, I have a new understanding of life and through experiences, right? So that's why obviously I'm doing the tarot, I'm doing the herbs and stuff like that, because this, like the herbs are teaching me a new language to interpret life, to learn about life. It expands me, right? So I've been thinking about my senses and like what have I been giving myself that now I feel like, okay, this is, I love you, and this is like my love to you. So I was thinking about it in terms of like the other, right? Because we are talking about the partnership, the number two, the duality of things. And like, I'm like, okay, like I'd love to receive these things from other people, obviously, right? But I also want to set the standard for myself. Like, I don't want to wait to receive those from other people. I want to give it to myself. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be that first lover to myself, you know? And when I know what I give to myself, when I provide myself, it's easy to, like I said, to match it or go beyond. So this one, I was thinking about how I think I have been finding like all of my senses in terms of like loving myself. So if we think about it in terms of sight, this is the first time, not the first time, but this past year specifically has really taught me so much how to like really freaking enjoy how I look. Like, going bold has allowed me to really just be like, oh, I can do things and it doesn't matter. I can find joy in myself regardless, because I love my hair. I love my hair. I think my hair has always been my, like, I would always say like, oh, my hair is like my best quality. But now like, no, like I love my hair, but also it's not like just not my best. Like, it's truly me, you know, and then like trying to see that beyond just like the physical. So the way I even look to myself is like the love that you kind of like give to when you like see kids and you're just happy that they're just existing and trying things out and just being kids, you know, like just that pure curiosity, pure joy, and just seeing how real their expressions are when they're like looking at things and smelling things and chewing things, and you know, like just their experience in life. So that's one thing that I've been like really proud of myself, and also like how I look, and like not judging myself, falling in love with how I smile, you know what I mean? And like how I laugh and how loud I get when I talk, you know, all of these things. It's like that's just me sight wise. And I feel like that's um I've been training that a lot in terms of like also seeing the beauty in life, right? Being in nature, seeing nature, and just seeing the beauty in everything. And I think that's like bringing it out, right? Is because it's outside, you have it in, and then it's out and it flows like that. It just keeps flowing both ways, you know? You see the beauty outside, you see the beauty in you, and you're just at peace because of that, right? You receive it, you give it, you receive it, you give it. And that's such a Venus thing about receiving and giving, that emotional love, because like the Cancer part just wants to pour, right? But it also needs to receive so that it can always flow. And that's kind of how it is. So that's number one, like sight, right? When it comes to hearing, I think, first of all, listening to myself, since I got that mic, and I started speaking and then making my videos and stuff like that, like I learned so much about just allowing to like hear myself out and just be like, oh, like I'm fine, and I make myself laugh, and I got really good points, and sometimes I'm just rambling, and sometimes I don't finish my sentences, and sometimes, you know what I mean? And like getting to hear myself and all of the things, like being the insecurities or the challenges met about like people shutting you up, whether it's in schools or like everywhere, like you know what I mean, like just speaking up and stuff like that, like just being able to freely just say whatever the fuck I want and just like be like, oh, whatever, like life is life, you know? Or like just being like, okay, maybe that's problematic, let me address that, you know what I mean? Like you just allow yourself to be. And I think that's also a second sense of love that is through the ear of like being able to like allow myself to speak my thoughts, to say what's on my mind, and to not be afraid of what I say. And not only not be afraid of what I say, but I think a huge part of um, something that I was scared of is like saying something that hurts people. But I feel like also like sometimes people just want something to kind of latch on, stuff like that. So a lot of it is out of my control. So that was something that I've been practicing about, like allowing myself to speak and hear myself. So watching my videos back, editing my videos, that has been such a like a joyful experience for me so far. That's the second one. Third one is sense of taste. And I think that has changed a lot because I started cooking too. This honestly, like I feel like this past year has been a lot of that kind of change in terms of like I've been learning how to cook, I've been learning how to feed myself and also enjoy the food that I'm eating. Like truly like make food that tastes amazing. Like the other day I made soup, it went so well. I got so excited. I went and got another batch because now I'm like, okay, now I want to twist it in a different way. Like I want to add this maybe. Let me add, you know what I mean? And just like allowing myself to crave something and actually like attempt to do it and do my best to give myself that craving, right? A lot of the times the easy way out is the snacks, right? And I got the snacks, trust me, and I'm trying to stop, trust me. It's work in progress, you know. I'm not perfect, um so being able to allow myself to learn how to cook for myself, to allow myself to have that experience of taste, to like actually be like, I'm hungry and this food is going to satisfy that craving. Like, what am I craving right now? And then I go and do that for myself. That is such an like an intense physical form of love. Like that nourishment, it's like I give it to you, you know? Another one is the sense of smell. This one is so interesting because I have, for the longest time, I have been like scared of buying a perfume and sticking to a perfume because I always wanted to know what my scent would be like. And I never went for it, you know, like I've always worn like body splashes and stuff like that. And I've had perfume growing up, but like it was very generic and I always stick to something I like and that's it, you know? So I was super scared. But then a friend of mine bought me one and it just turned out to be an incredible scent. At the beginning I was like, "Whoa, this is so overwhelming." But now I'm like, "No, this is my scent." Like I love, like when I put it on, like I relax, like yes, it smells so good. Oh, it smells like me now, which is very interesting. So I'm glad I got a scent to myself. But another thing that has been strengthening my sense of smell is that I've been smelling these herbs, right? So that to familiarize myself with the taste of the thing that I'm having, right? Because taste and smell are really connected. But it's also one of those things that I am really working on enhancing my palate and my smell so that I know exactly what I like and what I don't like. So when I'm cooking, now that I know the taste of the herb and also the smell of the herb, plus know what the function is in the body, right? I am creating that new palette, like I'm enhancing my experiences, and I'm also knowing how to like add touches and how to remove things, and you know, and it's all like chaotic experimental stuff. So that's been such an incredible way of also like providing myself that of like smelling the food, smelling the herbs, smelling the spices, like making sure that I am familiar with what I like. And also like your sense of smell, like the things that you like are usually things that are good with your body. You know how like spoiled food sometimes tastes bad? I mean, not sometimes, most of the time tastes bad. It's because that, you know, and when it's bad for you, it's not good for you. You know what I mean? Not always, because something that tastes good are also bad for you, like snacks, you know? Or like too much of anything. Um, but yeah, so that's been uh something. And then the last one is sense of touch. And I was thinking about that a lot, but I think about it in terms of like, okay, with the sense of touch is like what the way how I express it is about creating and creating with your hands. And that is like writing, because I do write like a journal. It's been a minute actually, but a journal, and also like writing notes, so all of the things for my stuff like that. But also recently I was thinking about it in terms of like editing, because when I'm editing and stuff like that, like a lot of it is now becoming a lot more easier and faster. But before it was like super like you take time, and it takes time, you know, you're cutting, you're doing this, you're moving that and stuff like that. It's like you gotta have, you train your eye and you train your whole body to kind of like work with what you're doing. And I'm still like I keep getting better at it, which I'm really glad. But these are the things, and in that experience too, also painting, right? Like creating something with my hands. And I have a painting that is all about that, like the flower in the hands, because I'm like, when you start creating and you allow yourself to create with your hand, it is such a like a monumental experience. Also, like you can just, you know what I mean, touch yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you're just like, you know what I mean? You can just give that to yourself. And I was going through this whole thing earlier this summer, and I was talking about, I really like, I reached the point where I was like, no, I actually like fucking love myself. And that is something that was so hard for me to say, or like I would say it in terms of like, yeah, of course I love myself, like a very like tough love type of situation, you know what I mean? But now I'm like, no, like I really like, I do this. And these are things that came naturally to me to do for others, right? Like I love hosting. Such a Cancer thing too. I love hosting people. And then when I started learning how to cook, I wanted to cook for, actually I've always wanted to cook for people even when I didn't know how to cook. But it helped me a lot to like I'm so intentional about how I like want to cook for people. Also, like I'm so intentional about people's diet, about their dietary restrictions and stuff like that, because I want them to taste the food and be happy with their eating, but also not like cheap them out of something. You know what I mean? So I was thinking about that, and I was like, oh my god, I do all of this when like I'm having people around, but for myself, I'm always like, oh, it's okay, I'll eat a dairy. Like, so what is a piece of chocolate? Oh, so what if that, you know? And I'm just like, why am I doing that to myself? Like, I really was like, no, I really have to treat myself like I am a guest coming to my home. And I want to show them the best experience of like how to feel welcomed, how to feel loved and cared and taken care of. And also the intention behind everything that I've done is because I want this person to know that they have been considered in the entire process. And I'm like, that's has been my journey so far this past year. And in that summer when it really hit, because I was filming so much, and then I found out that like I was filming a lot of videos but I wasn't posting it, and then I'd go and then edit videos and make short clips and whatnot, and then I found out that like I was having so much fun, but also all the things that I used to say, like, oh, I need to figure out what I like, what I taste, the smell, blah, 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 all of these things, and then I'm like, no, now I have that. Like now I actually know, like, and I love seeing the person who's going through things and experiencing things. I'm like, oh my god, like I am that child now. Like I love seeing me experiencing life and going through things and stuff like that. So going back to the brew, the love card here is really just about kind of that, is understanding that yes, you can receive this from other people and that would be wonderful and that's amazing right now, but also like you gotta be kind to yourself. You gotta be compassionate to yourself. You gotta be like, you gotta treat yourself better. You know what I mean? And in order for you to really truly live at peace within yourself, you need to be a huge contributor to that peace. Truly, truly, truly. And I think about this a lot in terms of like my body, because I'm like, my body has been through so much and has been taking me through so much. But it reaches a point where it's like I'm exhausted and I have to listen to my body. Like checking in to see, is it within your capacity to give that? For yourself, of course you can give that. If your body has given every single thing to you, everything, kept you alive all this time, why wouldn't you take the extra effort and extra time to give it that extra love, to give it that rest, to give it the food that it enjoys, the smell, the you know, like it lives in the physical world. It wants to experience the world right here, and through those are expansion. That's how you expand your palate. That's how you expand your sense of smell, your sight, your art, and you see beauty everywhere. You want to create beauty and everywhere, and that's just so freaking beautiful. It's just so wonderful. So anyways, all of this to say is that I have been more attuned to go back to even like harder ways to do that, like even better ways of treating myself. Like I've been treating myself a lot better than I used to before in life, you know, like truly a lot better. And also I know that I could do more, because if I have been given everything by my body, I can do my absolute best to give my body all of the joys that it has been wanting to experience, but it was too busy surviving. You know what I mean? So yeah. So I just put in raspberry leaf and peppermint. Oh, I love this peppermint. It smells so good. And then I'm gonna add some rose petals. Just a couple. Perfect. And I'm just gonna pour hot water. And that's pretty much it. I'm headed to work now. But I'm actually going to make it somewhat of like a sweet. Whoop. That's my timer. I'm gonna add some honey, some local honey from the area. Perfect. And we just add some water, and that's our brew today. So all of this to say is that the love that you are wanting to receive from the outside world, you can give that to yourself. You can channel that energy through your senses. Start here. Start in the now, in the most practical sense of like, okay, today I'm gonna give myself an experience, and I'm gonna cater to all of my five senses, right? My physical senses, and then the sixth sense will just flow through, right? Also, exercising and stretching. I was thinking about that too in terms of touch. I'm like, that's a big one for me, honestly. Like stretching, breathing, like allowing myself to stretch enough for my spine to receive air, for my lungs to expand. That is such a joy. That is such a true like experience of life. Like it's such a belonging, and also it's such a grounding factor to be like, wow, I am here. I smell this tea. I smell the leaves, you know. I feel the warmth of my cup. I look beautiful. And I love hearing myself, hearing my voice, hearing my thoughts flow, like expressing what I'm going through and letting it flow. And that's all that this is about. So, this is brew number 17. Thank you so much for being here with me. We're coming to an end soon, and I'm so excited. I love you. Take care, and until next time.